Good evening. Instead of 3 strikes, you're out.
In this case, it's 3 breaks, you're free. A Metro judge today let a former APD sergeant off the hook despite some incriminating circumstances. Here's News 13's Alex Tomlin.
Richard Guzman admitted that he had driven tipsy after leaving a friend's house in February, but the judge said the state couldn't prove it and found him not guilty. Richard Guzman was pretty calm, and his lawyer was confident.
As far as I'm concerned, it's not just an issue of the stop.
Last February, a sheriff's deputy found Guzman, who was still a cop, passed out behind the wheel of his own car on the shoulder of I-25. Minutes earlier, another driver had called 911, saying Guzman's car was all over the road. When deputies questioned him, the 21-year-old police veteran who used to work DWI admitted he'd been drinking. But because deputies didn't actually see him driving, the judge ruled his admission wasn't enough.
Judge Engel's ruling essentially said that there wasn't sufficient evidence to demonstrate that he intended to drive from the side of the road where the deputy found him.
But what about the driver who called 911? How come he wasn't at the trial? Well, he now lives in Colorado.
Unfortunately, because they're not in the state, they're not subject to subpoenas under our jurisdiction, and so the court couldn't make them come back, essentially.
Then how about those 911 recordings? Well, the dispatch center claims it couldn't get them in time for the trial. So the judge found Guzman not guilty. And this isn't the first break for the former cop. You may remember the outcry because he wasn't booked into MDC after he was arrested. Instead, he was just released to a cop friend and got a summons to appear in court. Then 3 months later, the deputy who had arrested Guzman didn't show up at his MVD license revocation hearing. So Guzman got to keep his license too. There's no retrying the case against Guzman. The Sheriff's Department changed their policies after the Guzman outrage, saying everyone arrested for DWI will now be booked in jail. Dick?
All right, Alex, as for the deputy who missed the license revocation hearing, the Sheriff's Department insists that he alerted prosecutors he would be out of town on the hearing date, but that somebody dropped the ball.